Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to be creating our view for piano keys. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to create a new folder here and we're going to call this views, and inside this folder we're going to create an empty file, and this file is going to be named as piano key view. Okay, we're going to start with import of SwiftUI, and let's go ahead and type view. So when you see this these curlies, that means you can actually just hit enter and create that view scaffolding for yourself. So I'm just gonna hit enter, and you can see that it was created for us with the name being highlighted, so we can name the class or name this struct basically. So we've now named it piano key view. Okay, and then we're gonna create our note. First one is gonna be we're gonna create variables, and first one is gonna be piano note. Second one is going to be active, and this is going to be a boolean. After that we're gonna have a closure function on press. So whenever on press is basically called, what is the state for the piano key, and also on release, another closure function that we're gonna basically use. Now we are going to create a state property called is dragging. So if user is dragging fingers on the keys, now this one is a little bit hard on the simulator itself, but it actually works fine on the real device. So we're gonna have basically the dragging state is what I'm talking about. So drag is hard to achieve on the simulator, but it's actually working. It works on the real device. Okay, now inside the body, what we're going to do is we're going to create a geometry reader. And geometry reader helps us basically provide the localized dimension, the size and the spacing available within that container. So by default, geometry reader takes over the entire screen, and then you have the ability to query and adjust your view based on percentage. So you don't have to set a fixed width or height, but you can actually define it based on the available space. That actually makes your UI much more flexible, and you can basically grow or shrink your views depending upon the type of device and the screen space available on the device. Okay, so anywhere there is a geometry reader created, just imagine your view is gonna have the sizing information. That means you would be able to leverage that sizing to size your views properly. Okay, now inside this we're gonna create a Z stack, and inside the Z stack we are going to first create a rectangle. All right, rectangle, we're gonna set the fill as a color, a base color. Now base color is basically a color property. So let's go ahead and create a computer property called base color. This is going to be color type, and we're gonna say if the note is black key, in that case return black color. So black dot opacity 0.6, otherwise return 0.6, otherwise return a gray color with opacity 0.3. Okay, so this is basically our base color. Now while we are here, let's go ahead and create another key or another color key that we're going to be using called key color. and we're gonna basically, depending upon the is active state, we're gonna return the color. So piano highlight color, and if you jump on the basically the extension that was like, basically created, that had all these 3 colors, so that's what we are using here. So if it's active, use the piano highlight color with opacity of 0.8. okay, if that is not the case, is active is not true, then we're gonna enter another condition. So we're gonna check for the black key. So if it's a black key, then return the piano black key, otherwise return the color piano white key. Okay, so these are basically colors for keys. And now we're gonna go back into our body property, and we will create, let me go ahead and remove this. Okay, and we will create a we will call this base color, and there we go. This is our rectangle for the base color. Now let's go ahead and add some shadow, and we're gonna add shadow with color. So let's add color, and the color is going to be black dot opacity and we're gonna set the opacity 0.4. okay, radius is gonna be 2 points, and we're gonna have X and Y for our shadow, where the shadow is going to be dropped. So X is going to be 0, but Y is going to be 3. So that means it's going to be a little bit down in the vertical direction. So it's going to drop right below the rectangle. That means it's like, kind of like showed as light is being casted from the top at an angle, and the shadow is being dropped just downwards. Okay, and we're gonna set the offset as well here, and offset is going to be on the y-axis for 3 point. Okay, all right, so this is our base layer, and then we're gonna create another key. So we're gonna use a rectangle again, and we're gonna have a fill, and this fill is going to be using the key color. And let's go ahead and set the preview, and let's set the note, and let's go check out the model if we have a note that we can use. Okay, we can use this note right here. That'll make it easy for us to visualize this. So note goes here. Let's see, is active. Let's pass it true, and let's not pass anything for these, as and is dragging is something that we don't have to provide. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out if we can render the UI. Okay, so I'll just wait for this to, there we go. Okay, so it is right now in is active state. We can set it as false, and this is the shadow that's being dropped. So as you can see right now, it's covering the entire screen, which is fine. We're gonna just continue to keep moving forward. This is a single key that is represented on this view. Okay, so it's one key of the piano. All right, so let's go ahead and create a rectangle for key color. We're gonna overlay this one, and we're gonna overlay this with a rectangle, and we're gonna create a stroke for the rectangle with color dot black dot opacity 0.2. So there's going to be a bit of like a border around this, and we're going to set the line width to be 1 point. Okay, and right after this we're going to basically so we're going to have our rectangle, and now what we're going to do is we're going to drop shadow. Okay, so we're going to drop the shadow on to, let's see, so overlay and drop shadow right here. So shadow, and let's go ahead and set this based on is dragging. So if it is dragging 0.1, sorry, 0, otherwise 1, x is gonna be 0 point, y depending upon is dragging. So when the key is pressed, you don't want to show any shadow. That's why we are saying 0, otherwise we are saying -1. Okay, and the color of the key is for the shadow is going to be dot black opacity 0.2. Okay, all right, let's see. Another bunch of is dragging. Okay, so it needs to be question mark. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna set the offset. Offset is dragging. If it is true, then 0, otherwise -2. Okay. Oh yeah, so this is y-axis. I was like, what? Okay, so let's say we set it to true, and there we have it. So you see this slight shadow at the bottom. This is what is being basically used for this one, like to drop the shadow. All right, now we are going to add a drag gesture, and we're gonna add the drag gesture onto this Z stack. So we're gonna say gesture, and we're gonna define it as drag gesture with minimum distance as 0. Like how much drag do we need before we trigger this this on change. So we're gonna say minimum distance 0, on change is gonna give us the value. We don't really care about value, we just want to care about if not is dragging. Okay, in that case we're gonna set is dragging to true, and we're gonna call on press. Okay, so that's gonna basically initiate the on press flow, and let's go ahead and right after the on change we're gonna add on ended, and on that ended we want to make sure that our dragging state is dragging is turned to false. So we're gonna say is dragging is false, and we're gonna call on release closure function that has been defined here. Okay, so this is basically for drag gesture. Once again, we are seeing a single key, so that's why we can't tell what's going on here, but this is the visualization for the key, like a single key with the active state it's going to look like, and this is how it's going to look like for the inactive state. Okay, or like unpressed state basically. All right, with that we have reached the end of this video as well, where we created our piano key view. In the next video we're going to create our piano view. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.